You guys, it's an absolutely beautiful night here in Western North Carolina, and I'm walking at the Biltmore Estate, which is one of my most favorite places on earth. And I have some cool stuff to share with you. So the first is that next week on Monday and Tuesday, I'm starting the first 2 study groups of the Wellbeing Project. And Monday's study group is local in Asheville. It'll be at Hatch Co-working downtown. And Tuesdays will be remote. So if you're not local, you can still participate. You can kind of think of the study group as a book club, but for your life. We'll be covering the 3 courses of the Wellbeing Project, and they are incredible. Now, I know that I created them, but I did not come up with original content. What I did is just a lot of research and lived experience and years of putting it together in a way that could be practical and accessible for other people. So the 7 concepts is a framework for understanding what humans need to thrive physically and psychologically. It is basically the macronutrients of flourishing. So what I mean by that is you and I can both have a healthy diet, but eat completely different things. So this isn't the kind of thing, it's not a program that tells you to do yoga or to do, a particular form of meditation. What it teaches you is, as a species, what is it physically and psychologically that humans need to flourish. We can't actually flourish if we don't know what flourishing looks like. So it's just establishing what that means. And the reality is that we've become so identified with our differences that we have forgotten that we're part of a whole. And that actually causes us to suffer because we don't have the right context for our identity when we forget that we're part of something larger than ourselves, when we're part of a whole species. And you have more in common with every other human on the planet than any differences, like radically more in common. So the point of starting there is you can understand your uniqueness better when you understand where it begins within the context of the whole. So the first course is what does that for us. It gives us language to understand what human flourishing is. Now, the second 2 courses are about taking that and personalizing it. What does it look like in a very not universal me or a very not universal you? So the second course is called Your Big Story. And basically we use the hero's journey, which is like a composite, an archetypal composite of the underlying narrative that we find in all cultures, in all periods of time. All humans have had this shared archetypal journey. And what it is not mythology or the legends of, titans. It's actually human development. It is what the journey of actualizing and then self-transcending, where we understand our place within the whole in a true sense. We're not in a sense of like altruism where we're sacrificing for others, or competition where we're trying to protect what we have and compete with others, but this organic way that we focus on taking care of our needs in a healthy way, and that brings us to a point of development where we understand how our needs are interconnected with the needs of those around us. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but what course 2 does is it acts as this universal framework and a template of human development. So most of our well-being psychologically is coming from the story we're telling ourselves about ourselves. But when you put your story into this template, it sort of like straightens it out, right? And it uncovers the meaning. So the things that you suffered that seemed arbitrary or unfair from your past, or the challenges that just keep coming back and you can't seem to overcome them, they suddenly begin to make sense. And you understand what's happening there. If you have ever wondered what shadow work is or how to do inner work, this course, this framework will take you through that in a really kind of practical, non-scary, non-complicated way to help you explore the things that we typically are afraid to explore, but it will take it takes the intimidation away because you're stepping into something that is deeply human and that you are a part of, and really coming to understand your heritage, right, as a human. So that's course 2, Your Big Story. What it does is it gives you, right, this big story of your life that frames the meaning. The third course is called Tending. So I talk about in the first course that humans need a big story and small tasks. So the third course is the small tasks, right? We need a big story to give our lives meaning, and then we need the day-to-day routines and rhythms that take care of us, that meet our needs and keep us connected to that big story. We can't stay connected to a lofty story if our mundane life doesn't reflect it, and we can't really have a lot of motivation to keep these rhythms and to build and to tend and to nurture ourselves when we don't have any meaning behind it all. So we need both the big story and the small tasks. So the third course is Tending, and that is a lot of science. It's really just like making the things that we should have been told really clear and accessible. Like, we've never discovered anything in the known universe more sophisticated than a human brain. And we all got one, and no one teaches us how to use it. So just understanding how our brain works, how the thoughts that we think and the experiences that we have, how they shape us at a cellular level, how it's all interconnected, not in some woo-woo way, but in a really practical way. And then how to use that information so that we can enjoy what we have. We can enjoy being inside our own heads, we can enjoy being inside our own bodies, and we can enjoy the life that we're building. So that's Tending. So those are the 3 courses, and we'll be going through them over 9 weeks. The course bundle is available on the website, so you can get it there, and that includes 3 courses. And then it also includes an extra tool, which is called the personal inventory. It's getting really windy. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll make another video to tell you all about the inventory.